Hello everyone, welcome back to the Furious Wrestling Fan channel. I am Dwayne Rothman, and I am the Furious Wrestling Fan. Today we are discussing and reviewing WWE TLC 2019. And I would have much rathered to be reviewing, say, the Into the Fire NWA show. But I have been spoiled over the last couple years, as I believe probably many of us have, where if you have a WWE subscription to their network, you basically get the pay-per-views for free. So paying for one of these other shows just did not appeal to me. On top of that, being that the other show was on a Saturday, and with the holidays right around the corner, I had things to do. So I decided that since I couldn't watch the other show, I might as well at least watch TLC, and so I can review this show. So instead of watching something that I would have liked to have watched, I decided at the last moment to watch this dumpster fire instead. So I'm going to jump right into it. TLC 2019, the damn kickoff show. I've talked before on how much I hate these kickoff shows. I'm going to mention again here in just a minute. Booker T pumping up the crowd right at the very beginning of this thing. Just kind of setting the stage, setting the tone, setting the mood. And immediately he says something that kind of catches me off guard. And I've heard him say this before, but I didn't really, pay attention enough, I guess, or something. And I know that this has probably been going on for quite a while. But he said something about something was his shucky ducky quack quack of the show. Somebody want to explain to me what in the hell he even means by that? I mean, that hit my ears really weird. Here's this two-time Hall of Famer, which I enjoyed what he had done in the ring in his day. And I think he's got some insight on some things, but when he goes, well, this is my shucky ducky quack quack, and then keeps on rambling, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know. Right away, just hearing that, I was like, well, I don't know. I'm already hating this. And we go right from that to a video package, a little review of the feud between Bobby Lashley with Lana and Rusev. And apparently it's a feud to kind of be like this love triangle type thing, a divorce between Lana and Rusev, yada, yada, yada. But this package was made out to be and made to look like some kind of reality TV bullshit. And I hated every second of it. Okay? I don't waste my precious time with things like reality TV and TMZ and the celebrities and all this other bullshit. I don't have time in my life for that. I don't care about any of this. And so this is how they wanted to present this package to me, and I already hated it and could not wait for it to get the hell off of my television screen. But that relief didn't come right away, because we went to an interview with Lana and Bobby Lashley. And this interview segment, I got that same reality TV bullshit vibe. I hated this too. I tuned out rather quickly. So at this point, not only did I not give a shit about their feud, their angle, their storyline, I didn't care about them. I didn't care about none of this. And I couldn't wait for it to end. Okay? So finally, we go back to the kickoff panel, being Booker T, Coach, David Otunga, and Charlie Caruso, I believe is her name. Okay? And they go to start talking about something else, and the Revival kind of interjects and gets in Booker T's face, calling him out, calling out Stevie Ray, calling out Harlem Heat, and saying that anytime they want to get in the ring to settle things or whatever, then all they got to do is do it. And they're taking their earbuds out, and that is coming more across as a little more realistic. Their tone, their delivery of, this portion. What they were doing, I was getting into. It was kind of bringing me back from this horrible reality TV, bunch of crap. I liked this. And they did this thing. It was a little more reality, based, it seemed like. And I'm going to start rambling, so I'm going to move on. But I liked that. I liked that quite a bit. So then we go to the first and only match on the kickoff show between Andrade and Humberto Carrillo. I know who Andrade is. I've seen him a few times, but I don't really care. I haven't really been given a reason to care about Andrade. And Humberto Carrillo, who in the hell is that? I've never seen this person before. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown and NXT every week. I don't have that kind of time. I work a second shift job, so I am at work while these programs air. And again, I don't have the kind of time to go back and watch every single episode. I just don't have the time, nor do I really care to at this point with half the things that I see on half of these programs anyway. But again, I know Andrade a little bit, don't care. Humberto Carrillo, don't care. I don't know who the hell this is. I actually had to Google them to figure out who the hell he was, and apparently hasn't really done anything of note. But they're pushing him to the moon, and I don't know why. Samoa Joe comes up on commentary, which was strange to me. It's not that he didn't really do a good job or anything. I guess he did fine. It hit my ears weird to hear Samoa Joe on commentary. But immediately as this match starts, and then as it progresses a little bit, I already hated this. This is the same type of match that I'm seeing everywhere else. This quick-paced, flying around, no structure, just these two guys just doing whatever the hell comes to mind. So therefore, there was nothing special about it, and I literally felt like I was watching AEW. I felt like I'm watching AEW because there's two guys that they're not main eventers. I should have timed this because I swear it took like 30 damn minutes. And these two guys, they're not main eventers. They're taking up all this time. There's all these different near falls. Nobody's really selling anything. They're just going from spot to spot to spot to spot. Boom, 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 boom. Again, this is the kind of shit that I expect out of a fucking AEW show, and now I'm getting it in the WWE, and I absolutely hated it. Finally, Carrillo wins with a moonsault, and it was about damn time. At this point, I was actually really debating on continuing watching this show, because if this is the kind of shit that they're going to give me, I don't want to see it. And I would rather have done anything else with my time. So, we go from that match to a package between The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and The Miz. And there's some mind games played. Things are getting personal. They're doing this angle where this deranged human being, or monster, or whatever, is messing with the guy and his family. And it's a personal topic. And the way that it was presented, I was able to get into it. Again, it's had a little bit more of a reality base, I guess, to it. It was a little more believable, even though the Fiend's character is a little out there. Quite a bit out there, actually. But it just, there was something about it where I could get into it. They had the cameras in the Miz and Maurice's home, and their children are involved. And you don't mess with somebody's children. You just don't do that kind of stuff. So I was getting into it. And then we went right back to the kickoff panel, and this pre-show BS just took all the steam right out of it. And I all of a sudden didn't care anymore. What I mean by that is they're supposed to be talking about this real life type situation, this very serious thing, and they're, it's like they were kind of cracking jokes, they're like giggling a little bit and stuff, and it just killed everything, and I didn't care anymore really at that point. Booker T seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much. He was one of the ones that was really kind of just giggling about some stuff and, not really taking anything seriously. So therefore, how can I take anything seriously? So finally, at that point, this 1 hour snooze fest that is a damn pre-show was finally over, and we could get to the main damn show. So here we are, TLC 2019, the main show. And the show starts. The show opens with a fucking ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, the New Day defending against the Revival. And, I'm going to talk about it right here and kind of get it out of the way. This may take a minute. I absolutely hate gimmick pay-per-views. I can't stand them. They need to go the hell away. Because the problem with a gimmick pay-per-view, this one is being TLC, and then the other ones like the Elimination Chamber, Hell in a Cell, Money in the Bank, every time those events come up and come around in the schedule and come around in the year, you automatically know, well, there's going to be a TLC match on the show. I wonder who they're going to put in it. Or there's going to be a tables match in the show. I wonder who they're going to put in it. Or like the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Well, it's Hell in a Cell season again. I wonder who they're going to put in the Hell in a Cell match. There's no meaning to these matches anymore. These matches used to be used to settle a rivalry, settle a feud, settle a personal problem, and to be an end-all, be-all for a rivalry, or something like that. It had purpose. They had meaning. Before, it's like, okay, Bad Blood is coming around, and these two guys is going to be for the title, and they've been at each other's throats, and it's going to be Hell in the Cell. And immediately you go, oh, shit. Business just picked up. Now it doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. It's just another match stipulation to just throw into the theme of the pay-per-view. So therefore, the stipulations aren't special, and they don't add anything to the matches or the feuds anymore. It doesn't mean anything. The gimmick theme pay-per-views need to disappear. They need to go away so that you can use these matches and these stipulations for something with some meaning again. I absolutely hate this. I hope it goes away sooner than later. But in this match here, it's a ladder match for the SmackDown tag titles. There's no build-up. There seemed to have been really no purpose to this. I think he said like the Revival won some kind of, I don't know, number one contenders match a week or 2 weeks prior. So there was like really no, I guess, real true rhyme or reason for them to be having this match other than the fact that you have number one contenders and champions. So it's like, okay. The match starts, and the New Day go for the ladders very early. And they already try to just incorporate these into the matches. The Revival cut them off, and they grab the ladders, but they are slower than snails. It was unreal to me how I think it takes a certain type of competitor. It seems like over the years, only certain people, certain superstars were able to pull off these kind of matches to where everything doesn't look so choreographed and staged and like, they're just ready to set up for the next part of the match. Because I've seen it several times in this one. The Revival, they're standing there. They got a ladder in their hand, and they wait for Kofi to like jump up on the apron and jump up on the ropes and then come back and to hit them. They just stood there, just waiting for him to come and splash them while they're holding this ladder in their hand. And it's just, ugh. There was another instant where I forget exactly who was involved with this spot, but there was another spot where somebody had like stepped right into position right before something else happened. And this happens in a lot of matches like this. It's too obvious. It's too obvious. And I think the bar has just been set so high for these matches over the years, where everything I think can possibly be done has already been done already. So they're trying to come up with these different spots and these different maneuvers and these different ways to use the ladders or the tables or whatever the furniture is or whatever the gimmick or the theme of the match or the show is. And it's too obvious. It's way too damn obvious. And all I can do is shake my head when I look at it. I did see a nice little spot where Kofi was on one of the ladders. They go to like tip it over. He like balances himself on the top rope, comes back with a tornado DDT. The DDT portion of it didn't look the greatest, but I could see what he was trying to go for, but with how they did it, I guess it would probably be pretty difficult to pull off. So at least props for at least trying it and making it look okay. But we got a bad-looking shatter machine out of the Revival. I think they were coming off the ladder or something. Probably couldn't get positioned quite right. It just didn't look very good. Big E, eventually takes, and this is one of the spots that I've kind of always hated with these ladder matches, especially multi-man. It goes back to the multi-man thing. I hate multi-man matches for this reason, unless it's a genuine tag team match, because and done right, mind you, because there's a flow to it. There's a way that it's supposed to be done, and if it's done properly, then you get a decent match with a certain flow, because a tag team match has a different environment and a different way of going about it. This is just, they called it right on the commentary. It was the Demolition Derby of the WWE, and that's all it is. All this is a car wreck and just things going on. But the spot that I was talking about is there's a ladder already in the ring, okay? Everybody else is down already. But Big E decides that he's going to go out to the floor and get another ladder, set it right up next to the other one, even though there was one already sitting there. He had plenty of time to just go up and get the belt, so he should have just done that, from a logical standpoint, instead of getting another ladder and setting it up there. But that wasn't enough, guys. No. Had to go out to the floor and get yet another ladder, and start constructing this, scaffolding type thing. Okay? And at this point, there was some spot, like a suplex or something, whatever. They got to break a ladder. That's another spot that has really run its course by now that I could really go without seeing for a little while, because it's in every single damn ladder match where somebody has to go through a ladder. It's not necessary. It doesn't need to be done, at least not in every match. It was one of the things when you saw it the first time, you're like, oh, damn, what the hell did I just witness? But now it's every single time. And again, just like everything else, when you do things too much, it's not special anymore. It meant nothing. It was just another spot. They could have easily done this, a spot with a table or something. No, had to be ladder, had to be done this way. The ladder didn't break right away, so when we get a splash from one of the Revival through the ladder the rest of the way. I don't know why that needs to be a thing, but eventually, they finally get to the end, the New Day. Kofi had this little thing, we get the Trouble in Paradise, we get a couple of things, but finally Kofi goes up the ladder, grabs the titles, finally the New Day retains the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and once again, it was at that point kind of about time. I was kind of sick of this match at that point. I actually would have rather have seen the New Day against the Revival in a traditional tag team match for the titles. I think they could have had a better match besides this car wreck of a match. I don't know. I really didn't care for it much. Next match, Buddy Murphy against Aleister Black. I can say that I was a fan of Aleister Black, still kind of am, but it don't seem like he really gets used all that much. It is somebody that they just, bring out of the back every once in a while. And Buddy Murphy, I was really beginning to get impressed with Buddy Murphy with the things that he was doing on 205 Live with the Cruiserweight division. They go out. They start having this match. It was pretty quick paced. It was hold for hold there for a second, but then the strikes kick in. And both of these guys were doing strikes very well. But then they toned it down. Then they switched to gear and they slowed it down. And Buddy Murphy is, there was a kick or a knee or something where it really rattled Aleister Black's jaw. So he's working on the jaw, working on the head. Things go back and forth, and then Aleister Black comes back. He's got some amazing, knee strikes and, some kicks and, everything. It was really looking good, but I got to tell you, even though as good as everything was looking, my opinion, it was getting to be a little too much. I start asking myself, how many times can you get kicked in the face before you stay the hell down? You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't be able to, take getting your teeth knocked out, either with a kick or a knee strike or whatever, 37 times in a match and still be able to keep getting up. I just, I thought that it was getting to be too much. But finally we get this really kind of nice, quick strike exchange, and then Aleister Black hits the Black Mass, right at the end of that exchange, real quick. Aleister Black wins the match. Again, I gotta say, I was enjoying the match. It was getting to be a little bit long. The offense was getting to be a bit much, but they ended it, in my opinion, before it was too late. If they would have kept going, they could have ruined everything that they had done, and it would have been a complete mess. But they went a bit long, but they finally pulled the trigger on the finish, and I could live with that. It was all right. Next, we go to the Raw Tag Team Championship Open Challenge. And the Viking Raiders decide they're going to do an open challenge to anyone on the Raw roster for their tag team titles because nobody can touch them. Well, here comes Gallows and Anderson. Gallows and Anderson, they have a trophy. They're the best tag team in the world. So they decide they're going to answer the Viking Raiders challenge for the Raw tag team titles, and then they go to ringside where they have a table set up with 4 fans sitting there eating KFC. Why? For what? There's apparently some kind of, I don't know, package deal thing that they had won, or some kind of like giveaway thing that they had won. But why the hell are they sitting there at ringside just casually eating KFC? I thought that looked so stupid. That looked so silly. Put them right on the, like, one of the corners of the barricade or something. Why did they have to be on the inside of the barricade right next to the ring just casually eating chicken? It was, Once again, being that this is an open challenge, there was no build up to this either. There was no story. It's just a snooze fest. There was really no point for it to happen, other than the fact that they just issued this open. It's a pay-per-view. People, come on. Like, build me up some kind of story or some kind of angle that I can give a shit about. Give me a reason to want to tune into this pay-per-view. With shit like this, you don't get that. You just don't. The match starts out for a moment, but then they go back to the fans sitting at ringside, and I kind of laughed to myself because they got them sitting like behind one of the ring posts. So with the shot that they kind of showed from like over their heads, it was like they really couldn't see anything. I don't know, it just kind of struck me as kind of funny. The match itself, even though there was really no build up, no story, no nothing, it was okay. They were doing some of the, what I feel, I guess, kind of traditional tag team stuff to make it a decent tag team match. One team had cut off one of the other members of the opposing team, and they're working together, and finally, there's a cutoff, and, there's a hot tag, and Ivar gets in, and he starts coming back. There's a big botch where for a big guy, again, I've said this before, he goes and does that handspring back elbow thing that somebody as small as Tajiri would do, and he's trying to do it, but Gallows was nowhere near in position, and it was terrible. It was absolutely looked horrible. Well, they finally go outside the ring, they're fighting a little bit, and then all of a sudden you get the double count out. What? So here it is. Actually, when I look back through these notes, this is the second championship match, and I think the last, as a matter of fact. Championship match in this show, and it ends with a double disqualification? What? So, at that point, of course, since the KFC table is sitting nearby, they had to grab that, and the crowd is then chanting KFC. I think KFC was more over than either of the teams were, which is really sad. So the KFC table has to get destroyed. You know, I thought it was a decent match. They were doing okay with it, with the exception of the one big botch, but then it ends in a very, very lame double count-out finish, and I just didn't think it really meant anything. It didn't do anything. I mean, if it was a open challenge and you were going to try to... I don't know what they were going for here. What was the purpose? If you're trying to make either of them look good, I don't think you made either of them look good. One of them is your goddamn tag team champions. You know, if you wanted to make them look good and it's an open challenge scenario, you should have had somebody to at least beat or something. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I thought it was a terrible way to end the match. Next up, of course, once again, going right back to what I said with the gimmicks and the theme of the show, we have a TLC match. Roman Reigns against King Corbin. Now, I know that this has been done before, but I don't remember exactly what matches. I can't tell you right offhand. But here we go. This is a TLC match, yet nothing is at stake, and so it's a pinfall or submission. What the fuck? Why the stipulation then? Why? Why have a TLC match? Why didn't you just say that it's a no-holds-barred match? Why can't you just say anything goes? It's something like that. If it's pinfall or submission, if you're going to have a TLC match, I feel like there needs to be, I don't know, something hanging above the ring. There needs to be something that they're fighting for. I thought that was the whole point of the ladder match portion, aspect of the fucking match. But no, it's pinfall or submission. So therefore, the stipulation, to me, it was one of those scenarios where it's just to go with the theme of the show. And that's why I hate that so much. Other than the fact that I had seen Baron Corbin at, what the hell was it, Survivor Series last month, I didn't really realize that he was doing this whole King thing. But he's King Corbin now, which I think is a big step up from this, I don't know, dress shirt, executive type Corbin that we were getting. So I think that it's alright repackaging, for Baron Corbin. And I think that, as long as they don't ruin it, which, they probably will, he at least can probably do something with that, in history, a bunch of people have used, this King gimmick. It's one of those things, you had the King of Hearts, you had the Macho King, so the King thing is King Booker. You've had this King gimmick that you can go back to repackage somebody, and I feel like somebody like Baron Corbin desperately needed that. So all right, I guess get behind that. But right away, we get the King Corbin's little entourage, the security guards, trying to take out Roman Reigns. That doesn't work. So they start fighting through the crowd. And being that this is a TLC match, I actually expected for them to go for the furniture real quick. It actually took them a little while to start introducing the weapons, which that to me was fine. That was fine to me. I get partially through this match, and all of a sudden, the damn WWE network starts getting spotty again. I'm having a hard time with justifying having my subscription to watch these pay-per-views if I can't watch it in a decent manner. Now, mind you, I don't even watch it right away as it's happening. I actually give it sometimes 15 to 20 minutes to start so that I'm a little bit behind, so I would hopefully not run into this problem. But I keep running into this problem every single time I watch one of these pay-per-views where it starts getting spotty, it starts freezing, the picture starts getting really pixelated. It's crap. And it's starting to get really, really frustrating. I mean, trying to run a streaming service like this in real time, this live stream on this network, I understand that they're probably, streaming this to thousands and thousands of people. But knowing that you'd think that you'd be able to look at your subscription numbers and say, hey, we got to be able to put something together that's going to be powerful enough to be able to support this. And it's just not happening. It happens every single pay-per-view I try to watch, this happens to me. So I wish they would just get that fixed or do something about it. We keep going on with the match, and we get a big chant for Roman Reigns. So what a difference some time has made, where they absolutely booed him out of the building and hated his face. But the fans start chanting for Roman Reigns, so that was kind of different. Corbin uses a can of dog food. Really? I mean, I realize it's part of the package that they use the dog food to humiliate Roman Reigns, but he hits Roman Reigns in the face with a can of dog food in the middle of a TLC match. You got ladders and tables and chairs all around the ring, but you have to use the can of fucking dog food. Really? Why? They keep going. They start getting ready to use, one of the announce tables. And again, you have all these tables around the ring, but you have to use the announce tables. Why can't you just use... I just don't get it. Eventually, it looks like Roman Reigns is going to spear Corbin, like, through the barricade or something. And we get an interception by Dolph Ziggler, who uses the Superman kick, as said by Michael Cole. I don't know if that was intentional, but he said it again later on in, like, the replays. So again, I don't know if that was an intentional or if that was kind of a slip up on the announcer's part, but it was the Superman kick. I heard that and I instantly laughed. Then Ziggler and Corbin, they turn their attention to one of, like, the timekeepers or something for some reason. Why was that a thing? I don't understand that at all. And as they're getting to, ready to, dump dog food on this timekeeper or whoever the hell this was, Reigns interferes and, does that drive-by drop kick, and he's got the kendo stick. Gotta have the kendo stick. I gotta have yet another weapon in the match, even though we have all this other stuff just spewing about, laying everywhere. Roman Reigns deals with Corbin's security. Well, then the Revival interferes. So apparently they're in this little group too. Eventually you get a big dive by Roman Reigns. And eventually, at this point, this match is now going on forever. I'm bored to death with it. There was at one point, finally, it looked like maybe we were going to get a spear out of Roman Reigns, and Ziggler kind of just throws the chair into the face of Reigns. So we've got something of a resemblance of almost like a chair shot to the head. So I kind of went, oh, okay. At that, Corbin just eventually wins. Okay, that's just that's just that. Okay, the numbers were just too much for the big dog, Roman Reigns, and King Corbin is your victor. See, like, this little stable forming. And for some reason, I get the feeling, for some reason, that this would be the WWE's retaliation or jab back at AEW for the Inner Circle. I don't know why. Just that thought occurred to me while I was watching this. But again, you get the end of days and King Corbin wins. Once again, this could have just been a no holds barred match. But again, it had to be a TLC match with a pinfall or submission stipulation just to go with the theme. And once again, this is another one of those things that I was just so glad that it was over and we could just move on from this. So next we get Bray Wyatt versus The Miz in a non-title match. And I'm going to mention this again here in just a little bit, probably at the close of this. Okay, non-title match. Again, they play the little package, which, again, if you don't have the kickoff panel kind of taking the steam out of it, it was I could get into this a little bit. It was an interesting personal story. I still hate the fucking Miz. He still comes out to the ring looking completely goofy. I would think that if this guy is terrorizing your home, your wife, your kids, you wouldn't come to the ring looking like some kind of Naruto knockoff. Okay? You'd come to the ring. I'd come to the ring, no little headband, no stupid little glasses. I'd just walk out to the ring, get in the damn ring, and stand there and wait for this guy to come out because I'm ready to beat his ass. I wish it would have looked a little more serious on the part of the Miz. I thought he just still looked like a goof. But then I don't know why I was expecting the Fiend, because they didn't show the Fiend in the little opening match card picture thing. But we got no Fiend. What the hell was this? This was so fucking lame. Here comes Bray Wyatt in his little Firefly Funhouse sweater and he waving to the people and all that. What the fuck? Finally, I was ready to see something that I wanted to see. I wanted to see the Fiend. I'm a fan of the Fiend. I like the character. I've always been a fan of these really dark and demented characters and gimmicks. I wanted to see the Fiend. Instead, I got this. I don't understand necessarily the Firefly Funhouse creepy Mr. Rogers thing, but it works for his little vignettes and stuff. It's like a little personal, like little alter ego kind of thing. I can I guess I can accept that, but I wanted this match to happen, and I wanted to see the Fiend, and they didn't give us that. So we got smiling and hair pulled up and sweater wearing Bray Wyatt instead, and I hated this so much. I hated this with such a passion. Basically the whole match was all the Miz. He had all the offense, and so all I can do is just sit here. I'm staring practically blankly at my TV screen, just wondering, what the hell am I watching? What is this? And again, it's non-title. And so eventually we get, just kind of skip ahead because I'm really kind of pissed off about this. We get a Sister Abigail on the floor and the Miz barely makes the count. And we get another Sister Abigail in the ring and Bray Wyatt wins. Just like that. And while I was still trying to process this, the thing still keeps going, and the Fiend shows up on the screen. Bray Wyatt says, okay, I'll do that, or something. And he goes out and he gets under the ring. He gets this big, fiendish, like wooden mallet. Kind of the thing like you'd see in like a cartoon or something. This big mallet. And he's going to go after the Miz with it. And then the lights go out, and all of a sudden, Bray Wyatt gets attacked. The hood comes down, and it's clean-faced, kind of cleaned up Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan gets another running knee in there. He grabs the mallet, and all of a sudden, Bray Wyatt disappears. And Daniel Bryan just kind of strolls up the ramp. And that was it. I am so dumbfounded. What the hell I watched with this segment? I absolutely hated it, guys. I hated this so much. If you're not going to give me the Fiend, then I don't want to see him. I don't. Leave Mr. Rogers Wyatt on the Titantron with the vignettes, with his puppets and all that stuff. But if it's going to be a match, give me the Fiend. That's what I want to see. As far as I'm concerned, the Miz should have took on the Fiend almost like in some kind of a way it'd be taking on this demon that had entered his life and his family's life. And he's going to fight for retribution for them against this demon. So give me The Fiend. This was just crap. I hated every last bit of this. And I really considered turning the TV off right then and there. But I figured I'd at least come this far. I might as well finish watching the damn show. But god damn it. So now we have the tables match. Rusev and Bobby Lashley. They show me this stupid package again. And I still hate it. So they really could have done without that. As Bobby Lashley's walking to the ring, all I could think of is, personally, you look at Bobby Lashley, and it looks like the guy is carved from granite. You know, I figure Bobby Lashley should be a much bigger star than what he is. He should be at least going after, you know, the IC title, the United States Championship, something. He should be able to do something a lot more than this, because this is so damn lame. Okay? And not only that, by the time we start getting to this match, it's so slow. This match is very slow, and it's very boring, and it just takes forever, and I feel my soul slowly dying from old age. And then the kendo stick comes back out. What the hell is it with the kendo sticks? What is it with these things? The chair, you know, back in the day, was the weapon of choice. You get the chair, you start swinging, you start bashing people's heads in. And obviously, because of the times that we're in now, you can't do that. So is this just the alternative? Is the kendo stick just the new steel chair? Because if it is, they could leave it under the ring. I'd be completely okay with that. Because again, it's every time somebody grabs an equalizer or a weapon to do some damage, it's always got to be this fucking stick. I just don't get it. So eventually we just get a suplex from Bobby Lashley, who throws Rusev through a table. Lashley wins. Whoop-de-doo. I don't really care. I was just glad that it was over. I didn't give a shit. And once again, we could try to move on from this mess. I hated every last second of this. We go backstage and there's this big brawl. And the only ones that I could really make out are Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin. So their fight just continues. Why? What purpose did that serve? None that I could tell. They're backstage, they're fighting. Going back to the ringside. But okay, if you're going to explain it later, but I'll return to that subject here in just a few minutes. Then we go to essentially what was the main event of the show. The tables, ladders, and chairs match for the women's tag team titles. The Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane defending against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. We actually got TLC rules this time. You have to climb the ladder to get the belt, so okay. At least you're going to go with the rules of the damn match stipulation. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, obviously they're bigger single stars. They've never really been tag team, women. So their history is well documented as well. But to me, personally, when you've got Kairi Sane, who was a former NXT Women's Champion. You got Asuka, who's a former SmackDown Women's Champion. And now they're the tag team champions. They look more of a tag team. They look more like a cohesive unit compared to Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, given their history, their storyline, their characters, or whatever. So I kind of felt like this was a little bit of a mismatch to me. But either way, at the very beginning, it was all Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. The Kabuki Warriors, it took them a second to kind of get into the match, but talking about that cohesive unit, by the time they finally started to get something going, there was a little teamwork involved there between Kairi and Asuka. It didn't last long. And at one point, Asuka, she's nowhere to be seen. Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch are in the ring. It looked like they were getting ready to climb up the ladder, and Kairi just starts throwing chairs. I believe one of them actually hit the ropes, came back, hit her in the face. So it looked silly. It looked dumb. It looked kind of embarrassing. But she starts freaking out. She starts throwing more chairs and throwing more chairs. And then Becky and Charlotte start throwing the chairs back. So people are just throwing chairs at each other. Oh, God, I hated this. Wow. This match was just everywhere. It was just chaos. Obviously you're going to get some of this in these type of match stipulations. They are kind of just car wrecks, but this was just terrible. And I'm a fan of Kairi. I'm a fan of Asuka. I'm a fan of Becky. I've grown to accept Charlotte. Not really a fan very much, but I can appreciate what she can do in the ring. That's a story for another day. But this was just everywhere. This was just chaos. And eventually they tie Becky Lynch to one of the ladders. Okay, all right. They deal with Charlotte. And at that point, Kabuki Warrior should have just won the match. Should have just been over right there. Obviously, Becky Lynch, she's a non-factor. The double team on Charlotte Flair. They took forever to put a fucking ladder in the ring. Again, it was like snails. I don't know what they were waiting on. They took forever for them to get a damn ladder in the ring. And you would think, again, you could have ended this match right here. Becky's already dealt with. All you have to worry about is Charlotte. Have one of them go up the damn ladder while the other one runs interference to keep Charlotte off you. The match should have been won. There should have been no reason for this to continue. But Charlotte intercepts. She frees Becky. You get more chaos. You get this table spot from Kairi. I don't really know what happened there. It looked like she missed Charlotte completely. I don't know if she was supposed to roll out of the way. The table didn't break. It looked completely horrible. The Kabuki Warriors, they're in control. They start setting up ladders again, which still, again, takes forever. They're messing with the rope that's still tied to the damn thing. That comes into play in a minute. But, yeah, they're cut off again by a chair. This thing was dragging on forever. This felt like it took like 45 minutes or some shit by the time it was all said and done. And it wasn't exciting enough. It wasn't... And it doesn't have to be completely 100% like 100 miles an hour, just crash fest. It had no structure. It was a mess. Anyway, just to end this, it drug on forever, but finally, Asuka finally climbs the ladder and her and Kairi finally win the match and they retain the women's titles, but they don't even get to celebrate. They don't get a chance to breathe and, hey, we retain the titles because immediately, they goes from Asuka grabbing the titles to the brawl from backstage is now spilled out onto part of the arena floor. And they just all these people just fighting. We get another like dive from Roman Reigns or something, knocks out all these people, and the show just fades to black. Just like that. What the fuck? What the fuck kind of ending was that? What? Okay, so when I go back and look at this, okay, you had 3 championship matches on this show, all 3 of them for the tag team titles. This women's tag team match, they didn't even get a chance to celebrate their victory, and the show just seems like it abruptly ended. I don't know if they were, the guys, the producers or Vince or whoever in the backstage was hating this as much as I was and just said, cut this shit off. That could be the case, maybe, but it just ended just like that. And so you had 3 championship matches, all for the tag team titles. One of them didn't even get a decisive finish. It was the double count out, and the other were ladder match type stipulations. So neither of the other 2 were defended in a traditional tag team match. The Universal title wasn't even on the line. The WWE champion, who I will not even mention by name, wasn't there. Didn't even make an appearance. Go figure. The United States Championship did not make an appearance on the show. The Intercontinental title did not make an appearance on the show. So what the hell? What the hell was this? There was really, I don't think, in hardly any of these matches, any reason for half of them to even be fighting each other. And the stories that they did have were lackluster at best. And half the titles weren't even on the show, even in a visual sense. And the SmackDown Women's title wasn't on the show. The Raw Women's title wasn't defended. Like, I don't understand what the hell was going on with the show. I really don't. I don't understand how you can have a pay-per-view. They do have too many championships. I will say that. They have too many championships. They cannot all be presented unless you have that Night of Champions type thing where every title is defended. It's just, when neither of your major titles are defended, one of them doesn't even show up on the show. Neither of the women's titles are defending. The SmackDown women's title isn't even on the show. Neither of the mid-card titles are even on the show. I don't know. I was so glad that this show was over. I hated how the show ended, but then again, I hated a lot of this show. I was not impressed with this show. Hopefully, the next pay-per-view, which will be the Royal Rumble, which I definitely will be reviewing because the Royal Rumble has a certain thing about it. It is one of the big four, and it begins the road to WrestleMania, and the shocking returns in the Rumble match is one of those surprise things that you can look forward to a little bit every year. So I will be reviewing the Royal Rumble. But thank fuck this show was over. It was a train wreck. It was a complete mess. There was really no purpose to half of it, and it was crap. It was just garbage. So anyway, guys, I can't believe that I had sat through the whole show and put myself through such torment. But there it is. Time in my life that I can never get back. And until next time, guys, I don't know if it will be all the way until the Royal Rumble review, or if I may have another enraged rant in there somewhere. But until next time, guys, thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening to my ranting. And thanks for tuning in. I am Dwayne Rothman, and I am the Furious Wrestling Fan.